Hello everyone and welcome to the FPL Cougars show. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kieran.
And today we are previewing Game Week 4. In this show we'll be analysing each upcoming Game Week fixture, predicting the potential key players, differentials and work out where some clean sheets might come from. We'll be discussing captaincy, revealing our Game Week 4 teams and planned transfers, as well as our Cougar Cup picks and answering some of your questions. Okay, so before we get right into all that, I just want to take a moment to say if you haven't subscribed to us on the platform you're watching or listening to, then do it right now. Because we're going to be previewing every game week this season. We've been doing it so far. We're 3 for 3, aren't we, Kieran, in terms of previews?
Mm-hmm.
We're just making it 4 for 4 tonight. Also, if you want to follow us, we're at FPL Cougars, all one word, on Twitter. And that's the sort of promo bit out of the way. So let's get into talking about fantasy football. I don't really want to talk about my wildcard team. Kieran, you can start by talking about your points. Let's go.
Pretty successful week, I think, overall. I took a hit in the end, 3 transfers, but 65 points, minus 4, well above the average of 44, so pretty decent. It's I went from 355k overall to 138k, so that's just over 200k green arrow, which obviously doesn't mean too much at this point, but, it's nice to see a green like that. Backline, pretty much all fails, but Trent got another assist, so it's kind of like a clean sheet. Had Salah, didn't put captain on him. That's the only real bad thing that happened. Sterling, captain, another return, which is nice. Martial managing to get that assist at the end, which was decent. But obviously, he's got injured now, which could be a problem. Callum Wilson with an assist against City. I kept him. I wasn't expecting much, but another fluky assist, so I'll take it. And then got in Pukki, and that party keeps rolling and keeps getting bigger. So all good to be honest in the end.
Yeah, it was a good game week. Not so for me. I played my wild card, as everyone sort of heard on the show last week. I switched my formation around a little bit so I could add some more money into my midfield. Didn't make as many transfers as I planned because I ended up keeping Jota with the view that Barnes' next 2 games look quite difficult on paper, but balls that one right up because Jota just had another blank, and all the players I sort of shouted out last week, Mount, Lanzini and Barnes all returned. So I ended on 52 points, mainly because I took out Salah. Just a pretty poor game week really all round. On to the next one is all I can say about that.
Yeah, how do you feel about taking Salah out in the wild card?
Now that he's scored 2 goals, I feel kind of bad about it. But it's a long-term decision with Mane and De Bruyne in mind, and sort of like a shift of funds from defence into midfield. So I think it's a little bit too soon to judge it after 1 week. That said, if Salah scores like another goal or like way outscores Mane this weekend, I will probably just go back on myself and just get Salah back in.
It's familiar to last season because I took Salah out and then he destroyed my season. So I didn't want to do that to take Salah out this year, and it's sort of the first week that you've done it's backfired a bit, but more time to go yet to see how it pans out.
It's just the fear of not owning him. Like, I only watched the highlights. It looked like Mane had an okay game, but just Salah just made the difference in crucial moments. So I think I'll give it the Burnley game. I can get back to Salah in without taking a hit before game week 5. So I'm not too worried. But anyway, let's see how it pans out. Back my decision for at least another week.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about people who have done a lot better than us, Kieran. Should we talk about our manager of the week in the FPL Cougars mini league?
Yeah, it was super villain Jimmy Ruffler. I think his name is, it just says Jimmy, but I guess it's Jimmy Ruffler.
What a name.
It's pretty good. 77 points. He played his wild card, an overall rank of 16,289, and that was up from 376k, so that's a massive leap.
Yeah, nice.
So, huge. Well done. And he's 45th in the league at the moment. So he had Cantwell and Pukki both in the side. Mount, James, Salah, Sterling. Had Sterling captain, so obviously if he had Salah captain, he would have done even better. But 77 points on the wild card compared to your, I don't know, what was it, 46 or something you got?
52. 52, Kieran.
Sorry, I can't see your screen. 77 points. Sorry, is really good for him on his wild card, and he's looking set up for the time being. So good on him.
Yeah, he picked James in there from Manchester United. What a move. And Mount as well. Mount, Cantwell and James. Fair play. All right, Cougar Cub picks. Now here's somewhere where I did actually, I dare say, excel this week, Kieran, because
pretty lucky, I think.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
If you did this, you'd be like, oh, it's the best decision I've ever made. But me, it's luck. All right. So what happened?
So I picked Son, who was obviously coming back from his suspension. Looks fresh against a Newcastle team who've been terrible. Obviously, yeah, I think he had something like 6 shots, maybe unlucky not to return, so he got 2 points and blanked. Yeah. And you had Lanzini, didn't you? With an assist for a penalty, which is annoying, I suppose.
Well, I knew you can't give me any credit for picking Lanzini.
Well, not when you get assists for penalties. Right? It's just like he's not done much there, has he? Right? Right, but you got 5 points for that. I can't remember what the totals are. What you've got the screen in front of you? Was it?
I've got 9 and you've got 5. But yeah, okay. I've figured we've actually we've got one more game week. I realised there's one more game week to go in August. So yeah, we've got one more to play for.
I've got some decent ones lined up for this week, so I'm feeling confident.
I have a feeling it's my pick first this week because you picked Sun last week.
Yes, it is.
Cool. All right. I've got 2 good ones lined up. But anyway, let's talk about that after we talked about the fixtures. Let's start with the lunchtime kickoff on Saturday, which is Manchester United, who are travelling to Southampton. I suppose the big news we should probably start with is the orange and yellow flag that's sort of been hovering above Martial's name this week, because quite a lot of players I think will have picked him up heading into game week 3. What's your plan if he is ruled out for that one?
I'm personally going to leave him just because I have a decent sort of guy that can come in, which is Cantwell. He's obviously looked good, so I'm probably going to leave him for this week. Hope he doesn't drop. Because I've got a decent replacement to come in. If you don't have Cantwell and have someone like Dendoncker or something like that, or Kelly or something, then not as good, and you may want to move him on. But as we've seen with Martial before, his injuries are never huge, and he's not always out for a long time. So I'm imagining it's just 1 week. Ollie said he might be training this week, obviously we haven't heard. I'd like to see some training pictures. That would be ideal, but not heard anything like concrete yet, have we? So no, not sure.
No, it should be an interesting to see what comes out sort of later this week about it. I think United have got good enough cover to replace him, so they've got Greenwood there, they've got Lingard, they've got James. I say good enough cover. They've got cover there. So I don't know how that'll affect their attacking prospects. I imagine it'll be a boost to people who own Rashford, because I could see him going back through the middle.
Yep.
And James and Lingard and Greenwood sort of playing in a 3 behind him in that 4-2-3-1 formation that Ollie seems to like at the moment. But yeah, I'm potentially as well, similar to you. I don't think I'd get rid of him unless we know he's going to be out for the game after the international breaks. He's got 2 weeks off, isn't he?
Yeah, and I'm thinking of possibly wildcarding around then anyway. So there's no need for me to take him out, and I've got other plans for transfers. So yeah, I think Cantwell's come in. It's fine for me. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think about United after watching that game against Palace? Because again, people loaded up on Rashford. He looks like he's got penalties back now, but he missed that one.
1 out of 3 scored so far, isn't it? And United seems to always get penalties, so hopefully he can start slotting some in, but it's between him and Pogba now, isn't it? So Ollie said that both of them take them. Yeah. So I don't know. United could do well here, but they haven't obviously looked great in the last game. The XG of Martial was something like 0.07 or something.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
It's not looking great, to be honest. I think Southampton are fairly solid at home. So not sure about United's chances here. It could be like a 1-0 Southampton win or something.
Well, I have noticed that United are creating the chances. I think they're 4th in the league after 3 games with big chances created, which isn't too bad, considering they played Wolves, who are quite a defensive side in the middle of that, and Chelsea. I would have thought that would have been a lot lower. It was actually that Palace game where they only, I think they had 3 shots on target maybe in that game.
Yep.
And 71% possession. I think that's really poor sort of return on possession investment there.
To be fair, it seems like a good game for someone like James. He could do well. He's sort of on the counter attack, because I don't think there's much of a creativity really. And maybe it's one of those games that Man United will just like everyone thinks they'll do badly, and then they'll win 4-0 or something.
Well, I think James is an interesting one. So he had 4 shots in the box against Palace, which was 2 more than any other United player. Missed a big chance, and he obviously scored, so he could have got more. And he's actually started back-to-back games now with that Wolves game. So like now that Martial could potentially be out, I think he's definitely starting. And I think he's not a bad differential, at the moment. Their fixtures are still looking quite good. Southampton, Leicester and West Ham in the next 3.
Yep.
Yeah, tasty punt potentially. What's? Oh, sorry.
So yeah, I was just gonna say like the fixtures are decent for returns. So yeah, James not bad option.
What have you seen recently on the Southampton side of things?
I mean, like that 2-0 defeat to Brighton was a bit of a shock, really, considering Brighton's or 2-0 win, against Brighton. Yeah, a bit of a shock considering Brighton's good form and a high XG as a team.
Yeah.
But they've got tough fixtures, haven't they? Man United at home, Sheffield United away, which is probably their best chance, but then Sheffield United really good look good defensively at home. Bournemouth at home is probably the best one they can sort of target for a win, but I don't know if there's a clean sheet there. And then they got Tottenham away and Chelsea at home, which is obviously another 2 really tough fixtures. So 3 of the top 6 from last year in the next 5.
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, so not looking great for them. They're 8th overall for XG of over the first 3 weeks of 4.26. So their chances for scoring is not too bad. They're 13th for goals actually scored, which is 3. So they're kind of underperforming their XG.
Yeah.
But there's possible returns in the line of Ings and Adams, and that they may get some eventually. Basically, they're looking okay. So otherwise, player wise, I think Valerie is going under the radar a little bit. 3rd overall amongst defenders for expected assists of 0.87, which is crazy good for someone at Southampton.
That is good,
and that is going under the radar for sure. And he's 3rd behind Lundstrom and TAA for big chances created. So yeah, he's getting the crosses. And he obviously scored that screamer against United in the away fixture last year. So he's got previous and yeah, could do something. I wouldn't really say he's worth buying considering their fixtures, but he might be a differential if you really want to go there and you can afford him. It's just 5 million is a bit much for him, isn't it really?
Yeah.
And then I did have Redmond written down here, but he's got injured in midweek. So yeah, another reason to not waste transfers early, I suppose, if you're thinking about getting Redmond because he's got injured. So
is he definitely out?
I'm not sure about definitely, but he did come off injured. So yeah.
Okay, that's quite interesting to know. I think it's going to be another close game for United. To be honest, I can't see them steamrolling Southampton. I think Southampton played quite well in their last home game out against Liverpool. I could see them not turning over United, but winning a closely fought game here based on United just look a little bit shaky after that Palace game. It's just surprised me. I thought they looked in control large spells against Wolves, and sort of that Palace game just sort of brought them crashing back down to earth a little bit, really. All right, any more to add on that one?
No, I'm just I hope Martial's back, but not filled with confidence at the moment.
No, okay. So should we talk about Chelsea against Sheffield United? What do you want? What have you seen from Chelsea recently? Obviously recorded that good 3-2 goalfest win at Carrow Road last Saturday morning.
I mean, I'm not sure if it was good for their defensive wise. No. Conceding 2 against Norwich, it's not particularly good for them, is it?
No.
Because obviously last year they were pretty good for clean sheets, so something like 15 plus, wasn't it? So yeah, across the first 3 weeks, they're the 4th worst for goals conceded, which is 7th. And then 6th worst for XGC of 4.78. So, 4th best for shots conceded, which is kind of... So, it means the teams are being clinical against them. Of 29, they had 14 in the box. So, teams are being clinical against them, and that kind of means that there's probably clean sheets coming for them. And in their sort of upcoming fixtures, which are actually, super good, you'd probably think there's a clean sheet here, I would guess. Sheffield United's attacking prowess is not much at the moment. I'm excited for their defensive, at least if you've got someone like Emerson, and then I think he's looking great. So I've got some stats for Emerson as well.
Tell me about him, because I was interested in him after game week 1. He looked good. So
I think there's a 15-point haul coming for Emerson for sure. So he's got shots is 6, which is first across 3 weeks. Big chances 2, which is first of all defenders. XG of 1.21, which is first. And XA of 0.73, which is 4th of all defenders. So
that's good.
Yeah, that's across all those big stats. That's really good to be on top of those tables. Like I said, capable of keeping clean sheets against this team. Obviously, Wolves away after Sheffield United, Liverpool at home. Obviously, not a great clean sheet there, but they've got Brighton at home, Southampton away, Newcastle home, and Burnley away. All great fixtures, all green on the ticker. Emerson, he's got some big hauls coming, I think.
Yeah, I'm really looking at them from game week 7. I'm sort of taking this Sheffield United game as Sheffield United are going to sit in and defend well. Then they've obviously got the Wolves game that's going to be tricky in Liverpool. So 3 fairly difficult defences they're going to be up against in the next 3. But after that, from game week 7 sort of onwards, I am really interested in trying to pick out like a good Chelsea differential.
Yep.
Yeah, Emerson is really interesting me.
I agree.
What do you think about Abraham then? Because he got 2 goals in midweek. You've posted about him on Twitter. He's got good response. People seem keen. I think it's the fixtures. My sort of doubt about him a little bit, Keek. I don't know if you sort of share this, but he was playing a team that just come up from the Championship last weekend, as was Mount, and they were sort of like that was their bread and butter last season. I wondered if that's part of the reason why Lampard put him in, because they would have known the Norwich players. They played Norwich last season. Yeah, they've got another promoted team coming up this weekend, so it wouldn't surprise me if those 2 start and perform well again. But after that, I don't know. I'm still a bit unsure on them.
I think Lampard clearly likes the both of them. He gave Abraham his chance, didn't he? So, and then, like you said, another promoted team this weekend. Don't see any reason why he can't do it again. Yeah, obviously Sheffield United have been good defensively, but yeah, Abraham looked good in that game. 2 goals, 3 shots, 2 on target, an XG of 0.35 and an XA of 0.14, which isn't great. But he was clinical. If he keeps doing that, then fantastic. He's got the fixture to do it. He can score against Wolves away as well. I imagine Giroud, seeing that second goal go in by Abraham, he obviously got most of the minutes, is probably not feeling great. I imagine Champions League starting in a few weeks, I think. Actually, I have no idea when it starts, to be honest. But yeah, Giroud might play Champions League instead. Like he did last year. He played all the sort of Europa League games. He might just be doing that role again. And Abraham might be favoured for Premier League. And there's Batshuayi as well, but who knows where he is. He hasn't really seemed to get any look in at the moment. So yeah, if Abraham starts this one, I think he could be first choice, and he's going to be good value at 7.1, I think.
He's definitely one I'm going to monitor in this Sheffield United game, and then see where we are sort of coming out the other side of the international break in those 2 more tough games. It wouldn't surprise me if sort of Giroud comes back into the team, because really, if I'm going to pay 7 million for a Chelsea striker, I need one that looks like he's nailed on. I can't be dealing with rotating Tammy and Giroud depending on the opposition. But yeah, I get your point. Also, we've got to find out when Champions League starts, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Get the Cougars Champions League show on the road.
Yeah, I was thinking about not doing it this year, but I probably will. I can't help myself,
You can't help yourself. Sheffield United. Now, I haven't got a ton of stuff written down for them, apart from saying Lundstrom's still doing it, because he's about to rise to 4.2. I think people are finally clocking around to the fact he's a great enabler now.
I think he did last night,
Oh, did he? Okay. Oh, he's on 18. He was on 18%, and yesterday in the daytime, and it just looks like his stock is going to continue to rise. I would sort of say that Sheffield United's next sort of bunch of fixtures aren't really anything to get too excited about, which is why I feel quite difficult about recommending any of their players. I think they've got Chelsea away, Everton away, and then they've also got Liverpool and Arsenal sort of in their next 6. Their two favourable home games are game week 5 against Southampton and game week 8 against Watford. So really 2 of their next 6 are sort of favourable. I'm not too keen on any of their assets. I think Baldoc's one to watch. I don't know if you saw his performance last time out against against Leicester. 1 assist, 3 bonus, 2 shots. He was playing right wing back. 4.5 million. He could be an interesting alternative to Lundstrom, but when you're getting a 4.2 playing midfielder who's sort of creating chances and getting big chances, sort of seems like he might be the way to go there.
It's hard to look at anyone else when there's Lundstrom there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say when you're talking about fixtures, you didn't have any written of that down in the notes. You've just got stink written down, which is great.
Oh yeah, that's my stink note.
Yeah.
Well, I just think they are stinky.
Yeah,
I think they are stinky. It's a shame, and their manager kicked off after last game. I don't know if you saw that, because the players got applauded off the pitch, and he said, "I don't know why they got applauded off. I thought they were terrible," or something like that. So, they're actually doing really well defensively. So maybe we'll see how well their defensive sort of quality fares against this level of opposition, because Leicester scored from their only 2 shots on target. Sheffield United have the best expected goals conceded record in the league with 2.52 after 3 games, which is pretty impressive. And they've also the joint second best for shots in the box conceded. So, I mean, they've played some decent teams. They've played Leicester, played Bournemouth, notoriously quite attacking teams. Who was the other team they've played? I'm blanking, like Lundstrom did last weekend because he got a 0. He played Leicester. They played someone else. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking. Who did Lundstrom get his haul against?
It was a Palace.
Oh, it was Palace.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, apart from Palace, the other two are quite attacking.
I mean, well, Chelsea are 5th best XG of 5.18 over 3 weeks. So 5 big chances, only 4 goals though. So, yeah, it could be a sort of meet in the middle of a 1-0, 2-0 Chelsea kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we had it's Wolves against Palace. Oh, sorry, Palace against Villa. Even my bad. At 3:00 on Saturday lunchtime. And where do you see this game heading?
Hard to say, really. I'm not sure, but like Palace are sort of all over the place in kind of their form and stuff. So, I mean, against United, they had the 7th worst XG of 0.89. They didn't look like they were good. They were just clinical, weren't they, with the 2 chances?
Yeah, they were.
And yeah, obviously they picked up a win when Benteke was benched. You know, is that a coincidence? I'll let you decide that. But took the chance as well, and hopefully they'll do the same against Villa. I imagine they could score, but you know, Villa have been okay defensively. Mings looked really good, hasn't he? Heaton obviously kept a clean sheet last week. So yeah, I can't see Palace definitely scoring, but it's going to be tight either way. Yeah, so they're 6th overall for shots conceded of 47, which is pretty bad. And then a team XGC of goals conceded is expected goals conceded is 4.58. So I expect Villa to score.
Yeah,
probably at least one. Yeah, what do you
think? Mean, last season it proved that Crystal Palace were the team for games away from Selhurst Park, basically, didn't it? They had a pretty poor record at home, but their style is set up so that they score on the road, which is why owning Zaha last season was a right pain in the backside, because you'd had him like primed ready for a game sort of at home against a team from the bottom half, and it was very rare that he'd pick up anything. So I kind of hope that he can flip that on its head, and Palace as a whole this season, because at 7 million, I think Zaha's quite a nice price point this season. There isn't much competition there, and like you say, his ownership is still less than 15%, so I'd almost class him as a differential. But yeah, after Villa, they've got Tottenham away, Wolves at home, Norwich at home, and then West Ham away. So their run is a bit mixed. I think that Tottenham away game is actually it sounds bad on paper, but in reality, I don't think that's a bad game for them. Like I say, they've got a great record against those top 6 sides. And I could see Zaha doing some damage there. On the sorry,
Zaha's stats against United, like, they weren't great. Like, he had 2 shots, but other than that, like, didn't do too much. I mean, he run Young ragged when he came on, obviously, but Young is obviously old and not really that match fit. But he had 2 shots against United away. That's not bad. If you can get like 4+ this week or something against the Villa side, who obviously aren't that great defensively, then I might start to consider him, because, like you said, that price point is pretty nice, and he is kind of a differential then. And I had good memories of owning him at the end of last season, where he looked like he was dominating teams. So yeah, I'd be interested in getting on him if he starts looking good.
No, I agree. On the Villa side of things, we actually had a question in from Michael on YouTube that said, "Is it worth getting a Villa player in with their good run of fixtures?" Now, I think that their fixtures are looking quite good, and that Everton result sort of says to me, look, there is actual potential and value in there. I think Mings is certainly one who, I mean, I disregarded him really as a poor centre-back. The fact that at the start, before the beginning of the season, when I said he couldn't get in the Bournemouth team, we know how catastrophic their defence is. Maybe Terry will get the best out of him, and it seems like either that's happening, and also Mings is sort of like a bit of a bonus point magnet as well. So I think he was 10 baseline bonus points clear of the next best player in the game against Everton on the Friday night. And considering he didn't get a goal or assist, and it was just the defence, defensive work, it was clearances, interceptions, he was just racking up those points. So I think he might be still 4-5. I think if you wanted to invest in Villa's defence, and you'd already sort of used up your goalkeeper spot with another 4.5 goalkeeper, I think Mings is not a bad shout,
Feels like there's a bunch of leaders in that team, and they all feel confident. Like Mings is a good leader, like dominates the back line. Heaton, obviously experienced, good leader. Grealish, captain, leader, and then Wesley looks like he's coming into his own as well. So yeah, even McGinn looks good.
Yeah, he does. I mean, I've had McGinn on my Cougar Cup picks, and I like the look of him a lot as a budget enabler, 5.6. He's had the second most touches in the box of all Villa players, 8 shots for the season, 3 in the box. His XG and expected assists were just like way down in that game against Everton. Not even worth talking about, but yet he still grabbed an assist in the game. And he's had a goal assist in 3 game weeks. I think for that 5.5 million or starting price for a season, he could potentially still be this season's Fraser.
Yeah.
Should also say that their fixtures are looking good because game week 5 after the international break, they play West Ham at home. Game week 7, they play Burnley at home. At the moment, those 2 teams rank 1st and 8th for shots in the box conceded. So I think there's goals in those 2 games. That's sort of sandwiched by an away tie against against Arsenal.
Yeah, I think McGinn's the standout option at that price point if you're going that way.
Cool. All right, Leicester. Do you want to talk about them against Bournemouth?
Yeah, obviously good looking home fixture for them here. Vardy obviously scored. I think he only had like 1 chance against Sheffield, but he scored from it. So yeah, good. If you've got him, then good. You should be in for a few goals here. But having said that, they're 4th worst XG overall of all teams of a 2.93 over 3 weeks, which is pretty poor, really. And they look like they're really relying on Maddison for the creative side to get anything done. You know, Perez, Tielemans not really stepping up yet. I don't know. Can I see any goals for them? Really? I mean, Bournemouth at home, obviously, or away. Sorry, haven't been great defensively. So I don't know. Usually, this fixture we think there's goals in it, right? But neither of them are performing particularly well in front of goal. And then, you know, Leicester have the actual second best for XGC of all teams at the moment of 2.57, just behind Sheffield United. So you don't usually think Leicester are really great for clean sheets, but they have been so far. Or they got 1 clean sheet, but they look like they're going to get more. They've only conceded 2 goals, which is joint first. So yeah, they're 3rd best bookies odd for clean sheet this week as well. So yeah, everyone seems to be backing them, and the stats seem to be as well. So yeah, with Bournemouth faltering in the attack, clean sheet odds on. I mean, most people don't really own them. A lot of people wildcard into Sionq or whatever he's called. So they're probably looking for a clean sheet this week as well, for sure.
I mean, we talk about Bournemouth's attack faltering. They obviously scored against City with that fantastic Harry Wilson free kick. We had a question in from Jim Balmer who said, is Harry Wilson an overlooked differential? You and I sort of talked about this a little bit, about how players from the Championship, Mount and Wilson in particular, look like they've had a stepping up at the start of this season and making a difference. Do you see Harry Wilson as a player who's sort of taken over from Brooks in a little bit and as being a lovely differential in that Bournemouth side? He's basically picked up where Fraser started last season.
I'm not so sure. Like his first goal was just a massive deflection from a speculative shot. So, you know, you can't really put much XG on that, or a big chance that he's not really created much else. And, you know, that free kick is a free kick. It's a wonder goal, which is, you know, he couldn't have got that any better, could he?
So good.
Other than that, like, he hasn't done too much. So I think it's probably a bit early to get onto him. If he starts providing assists, or looks like he's going to with his expected assists or goals, then yeah, at that price point, he's great. But until then, I'm staying a little bit away.
Okay, well, in terms of other Bournemouth strikers or Bournemouth attackers, then you sort of vaguely mentioned Callum Wilson. So I saw a tweet about it, which you could have written yourself. It was about another player. The fact that he's got 3 assists in 3 so far this season, 1 from a deflection off the post and 2 from fouls. I think he's dropped, isn't he? He's like, is he 7-8 or 7-9 now?
7-9, yeah.
7-9. I think he's got XG of 0.5 for the first 3 games, only 4 touches in the opposition box. You getting itchy feet on him, or are you feeling like keeping him for a bit longer? The fixtures look all right, don't they?
Yeah, the fixtures aren't too bad, but I mean, I had intentions to keep him, but I think I might move on from him, to be honest. Yeah, there's just other players I think I want more than him at the moment, and yeah, those assists have been fluky, and yeah, if I didn't own him and I saw him getting those assists, I'd be annoyed.
You'd rage, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So it'll probably be the week where he gets a couple of goals, but yeah, I think the person who I have in mind will probably do better and has got better fixtures. So yeah, for me, I'm moving on at the moment.
The person you have in mind, is that a spoiler or a precursor to what's going to come later in the show when you talk about planned transfers?
Yes. So okay. Yeah, let's not spoil it yet.
Okay, all right. Ooh, not so spoil it. Well, I think just generally looking at the stats on this one, I think something's got to give, because Leicester have kept 3 clean sheets in their last Sorry, kept a clean sheet in the last 3 home games, and Bournemouth has scored at least 2 in their last 4 away. So I think it's going to go, one of those stats is all going to be broken this weekend, I think. I think it's going to be a goal fest, but let's see.
Oh, I don't know. I think it could be a 0-0, you know.
Okay, all right. Do you want to talk about Maddison against Perez against Tielemans? I know you got some stats on those 3 ahead of Leicester. Sort of, I don't know. It gets a little bit tricky for them.
Okay, so
couple of fixtures, but...
yeah, in that order as you said it, Maddison versus Perez versus Tielemans over the 3 weeks. So shots, Maddison 10, Perez 3, and Tielemans 6. Big chances created, big chances 1, 0, and 0 for the other 2. Key passes 7 for Maddison, 2 for Perez, and 5 for Tielemans. Big chances created 2 for Maddison, 0 and 1, and then assists 2 versus 0, and X attack, which is assists and goals expected, 5.6 for Maddison, which is big, compared to 1.6 for Perez and 3.3 for Tielemans. So Maddison winning across the board on every single stat pretty much. And 7 million, 11%. He seems like a decent differential. If Leicester can finally start turning it on, you know, they seem to be relying on him because like I said, the others aren't really stepping up. So he's probably going under the radar a bit, and he looks good last season as well, didn't he? He sort of flattered to deceive sometimes, but when you got him and he was on a good run, then he was providing good returns, wasn't he? So
yeah, he was.
I mean, their fixtures are difficult, aren't they? So they're Bournemouth at home, then Man United away, Tottenham at home, Newcastle at home, who we've seen can keep clean sheets, last week anyway, and then Liverpool away after that as well. So 3 of the top 6 in the next 5 is tough. But Maddison, you know, he's got set pieces as well, so something to consider.
I know it was only like 3 game weeks ago, but do you feel like me and that we were like really stupid idiots thinking like Perez was the answer? Like the more I know, it's like the benefit of hindsight, but every time I see a stat on like the Leicester midfield, and I just think how wrong I've been about, or how wrong I was about that, and how pleased I am I haven't got him anymore.
Well, look at Perez's stats. It's like 3 shots across 3 weeks. That's 1 per week, if he even had 1 per week. Big chances 0, key passes of 2, big chances created 0, like assists 0. It's just like, he's been terrible. I don't know. We just got clouded by the preseason form and an out of position striker, which he isn't really.
So he's just playing wide, and he might even lose his place to Harvey Barnes's Wonder Strikes. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, okay, let's move on to something a bit more cheery that we know where we are with the Man City against Brighton. I think it's still a 3:00 game. We've had a couple of questions in actually about Man City. We've had from Self Gamel, who said, "Is Sterling a triple captain option for this game week?"
Ooh,
I know.
I would say maybe. I mean, he's got 28 and 6 over his first 3 weeks, so he's returned in every game.
Yeah,
there could be another big haul for him here. Not sure, to be honest. If you want to go for it, there's definitely the fixture for it. So, and he's obviously returned really well. So if you want to go for it, then go for it. But not for me. But what do you think on it?
Well, I quite like it. You know, it seems like a bit of an early season. And a lot of people played their triple captaincy on Salah in the first game week because it was at home to a promoted side. I think you'd be pretty happy even with a 2-goal sort of 2-goal haul for a triple captain. That seems pretty good. Yeah. I think what we found a little bit last season as well in those double game weeks is rotation bit us really hard in the arse when it came to the big teams. Because they had Champions League commitments, they were deep in the FA Cup, maybe deep in the League Cup, and we weren't sure they were all going to play 2 game weeks. I think if you can pick out a good home game against a team who look like they're going to give up a lot of chances, then it could be a good option to go with.
To be honest, I think with Aguero coming in and obviously doing really well in that last fixture, I think that kind of made Sterling's impact a little bit less. Aguero did beat him across the board in all stats against Bournemouth. So Aguero had 4 shots, 2 on target, 3 in the box, 2 big chances, and an XG of 0.96, and he got 13 points. So 2 of his goals were maybe a little bit fortunate, but good movement and where you want the striker to be. So if that's going to be the case where maybe Aguero takes some of the opportunities that Sterling has, not so good. But I'm probably going to captain Sterling this week. I'm obviously expecting some good points. So yeah, why not? 2 goals, 1
Yeah.
assist. Yeah, it could happen.
I do quite like it. We actually had another question talking of Aguero about how do we feel about him being back in the team. Let me see who asked that specifically. That was Malt Kesemelo. I hope that's how you pronounce that. He said, what do you think of Aguero? Now, I know you've got some stats written down about Aguero against Kane, because a lot of people were disappointed with him, but we'll talk more about him later. But do you want to just give me how those two compare?
Okay, so obviously they're in the sort of same ballpark. Obviously, Kane's $1 million cheaper, but obviously in previous years they were about the same. So Aguero's had like 100 less minutes. So compare to that, which is these stats are crazy when you think about it. So 100 less minutes. So Aguero first versus Kane. So shots 8 and then 10. So obviously Kane's had 100 more minutes. Makes sense. Big chances 4 versus 2. Obviously City, De Bruyne and stuff, giving him way more big chances for Aguero in less time. XG of 2.21 versus 1.04, which is disappointing for Kane. And then XA of 0.44 versus 0.31, so even his XA is higher than Kane in 100 less minutes. And then the X attack is 10.2 versus 5.1, and FPL points is 24 versus 17. So those numbers speak for itself. That million is probably worth it. And if you've got Kane and he obviously disappointed against Newcastle, then if you can find that 1 million. And don't already have triple City, I think it's possibly well worth it for this week, especially with Jesus out.
I like it. I mean, City's fixtures are so good now for the next 6. I mean, and we know they will score like 2 or 3 goals in every game because they are that good. It's how you just cover their points off best. So they've got Brighton, obviously, this coming game week after the international break. They've got Norwich away. They're going to score a few goals on that one. Norwich have looked suspect defensively. They've got Watford at home. Watford have looked really suspect defensively. They've got Everton away, Wolves at home, Palace away. So they've got like a really decent run of the next 6 games. I was really keen to get on De Bruyne early because I think his price is going to go up. Already pleased that he returned last game week. He only got 5 points, but from what I saw, he could have had a few more assists or maybe even a couple goals. His stats look good, and I just think double Man City attack is the way to go in there, and tripling up somehow is the way to get in on a lot of points in these next 6 game weeks.
No, I agree. I'm a bit gutted. I don't have De Bruyne at the moment. Triple looks good. Season wide, De Bruyne's going to do really well. Their XG as a team is 8.45 over the first 3 weeks, which is massive, and the second is 6.65, which is Liverpool. So they're well above that, and they're first across the board in big chances, goals, XA, key passes. Like City are just creating so. If any team keeps a clean sheet against them this year, I'll be super surprised because they look like they score like with ease.
Well, I wonder again now that De Bruyne obviously played in the season they broke the 100-goal record. I wonder if they could go close to breaking it this year. I think they've got sort of less options now that Sané's been injured, but I mean they've hit the ground running, haven't they? Scoring, is it 11 goals in the first 3 now?
10.
I think 10 goals in the first 3. So I think they're going to rack up another couple at least against Brighton, and I wouldn't be surprised if they score more than 2 over the next per game over the next 6 game weeks. And I think when you compare, like we were talking about Kane a minute ago, when you can't really compare City with a team like Tottenham, Arsenal, United, or Chelsea anymore. I don't think when it comes to premium assets, because you just know they will score goals and lots of them, because Pep doesn't. They have so much possession of the ball. They create so many chances, so many big chances. They're just FPL gold dust, all of them.
I agree.
Yeah. On the Brighton side of things, we obviously you've got Matty Ryan in goal. It'd be good if you could play your bench player, because Matty Ryan could rack up minus points this weekend.
don't have one.
I actually think on the Brighton side of things, past this game, I haven't really got any recommendations. But Dunk has been impressing me quite a little bit in their defensive backline. Their fixtures are sort of a bit mixed, but he's looking really good in that sort of back three system, because he is racking up points in the baseline bonus points system, basically. So in the last 2 game weeks, and take into consideration Trossard scored in one of them, Dunk is the second highest bonus point scorer in that, and they didn't keep a clean sheet against Southampton, didn't keep one against West Ham, and the fact that he's turned out nearly second place in all the Brighton assets is definitely worth considering, because I think once their fixtures clear up again, he has got goal threat and baseline bonus point potential there.
Yep, and on the Ryan point, a bit annoyed I didn't really just go a Pope and just deal with it, because Because I think you've got written down like third least saves in the league, which is for someone at 4.5. That's the kind of bread and butter of saves, and he's just I thought they'd get a clean sheet last week against Southampton, didn't. So disappointing, really. That's maybe one of the reasons why I might look to wildcard next week as well, to get Ryan out and just get Pope in and deal with it from there.
You might find that this is the game week he racks up those save points, though.
Well, yeah, possibly. And another one is just obviously to get KDB in because triple City looked good. Although last year when I wildcarded to get triple City and they burned me. So.
Yeah, well, they've already burned me trying to do that this season, so more the merrier. Okay, Newcastle Watford is 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. I think this season's sort of unravelling a little bit for Watford already. There's been talk about Javi Garcia losing his job. Do you think this is Newcastle's first home win of the season here?
Oh, hard to say. I mean, like Newcastle's attacking stats are pretty bad across the board, so Watford could do something here. Newcastle's second worst for XG of 1.69 across 3 games, which is really bad. Yeah, last in goals, last in big chances, second to last in key passes. You kind of get the picture here that they're struggling in attack. And like we said last week, Joe Linton and Almiron aren't really sort of linking up, are they? I thought Atsu played really well when he came on for that St. Maximan. Yeah. I thought he looks great, really lively, sprightly, some might say, and a really good assist for Joe Linton in the Spurs game. And speaking of Joe Linton, I thought he looked great against Spurs, right? Yeah.
He did
exactly what they need as a striker, like compared to Rondon last year. Held up the ball really well, finished his goal really well, but obviously the Spurs defending was woeful for that goal. They weren't marking at all. Don't know what Rose was doing.
Yeah, crazy.
But yeah, he had two shots versus Spurs, 2 in the box, 2 on target, XG of 0.33. Kind of to be expected against Spurs, obviously a tough team. But yeah, if he starts to pick up those stats like otherwise, then and if Almiron and Atsu start to look good with him, then I'm definitely interested. He's only 1.8% owned and 5.9 million because he's already dropped. I like the look of him. He passes the eye test.
He does, and it's not just because of his haircut either. I think he looks strong. He looks good up front. And he's obviously their central striker. He's not going to go anywhere from that team. It was about this sort of price last season where Rondon got to, and then we all got really interested in him. When do their fixtures get a bit tasty?
I think from Brighton after Watford at home and then Liverpool away.
I've just had a look.
Yeah, they got Brighton at home and then Leicester away.
And then Man United home, Chelsea away. So that's like 2 decent fixtures in the next 6.
Yeah.
Talking about teams who also have got really poopy fixtures is definitely Watford. So they play 3 of last season's top 4 in the next 6 and Wolves away. I just feel like they are in atrocious form right now. So dating back even to last season, they've now lost the last 6. They've conceded at least 2 in those 6 games. They've got a high XG though. So they've got 3.2 on the XG chart with only 1 goal scored. So they're making the chances of not putting them away. Third worst. Oh, actually, I think it was the third worst. Maybe it's expected goals conceded. I'm not sure. I've got third worst something, Kieran. Okay. I don't know what that means, but it's down there. So I've just put it could be a good difficult 6 weeks, but I think it really could be. They started the season really poorly, and you and I were both talking them up ahead of the season because they had good fixtures. We thought Delafeu would be in our team's game week 1. He's been pretty awful apart from that West Ham game where he looked quite lively. 7 shots, hit the woodwork and missed a big chance. He had 55 touches as well, which I was quite surprising. He was linking the play more than he was doing. He was drifting out wide to get the ball. But at the moment, I can't recommend any Watford players for this run.
He passed the eye test though, Delafeu. For sure.
He does, and
he's double dropped already. 6.3. He's going to provide value down the line. I guarantee it.
Maybe not until game week 10 at least, when maybe their fixtures might get a little bit nicer.
And they've still got the introduction of that Salah guy who scored in the Europa League, Carabao Cup, or the Carrier Bag Cup, as Joe from FFS Scout calls it.
Like it.
He's to come in and see how he does in his debut in the Prem. He's a good player, so I expect Watford to get better.
Okay, so we also have West Ham against Norwich. 2 teams with lovely kits, which I'm looking forward to watching on Match of the Day.
You don't like the Norwich kit, surely?
Yeah, I love the Norwich kit.
It's horrible.
It's yellow.
No, it's pukey party, as they say.
No, Kieran, I was thinking we were going to get through the show tonight without saying the PP word.
No,
We need
you
a
can't.
new phrase for that. I don't want to be using the PP word all season. I'm sick of it
It's
already.
not going anywhere. Just like his goals.
Well, good. Good. All right, so West Ham, tell me about them. Haller, everyone's talking about them, but they played Watford last week. You could have scored against Watford last week.
Oh, okay. Right. So Haller had 4 shots, 3 on target, 4 in the box, big chances of 2, and then XG of 1.17, which is impressive. Just for one game. XG of 0.24, 3 bonus, 13 points, highest XG of all strikers in Game Week 3, even above Aguero, above whoever else there's, Rashford, and all those people. Joint top point scorer of forwards that week. Yeah, Jota. So he was even interviewed after the game saying his 2 goals was good, but he thought he had a terrible game. So it sounds like he's hungry, ready to go, looking for more. If that's a terrible game for him, then what's a really good game? And this fixture is prime for him to do really well. So yeah, I'm super tempted by a Wilson to Haller move, and that's probably what I will do this week. And his fixtures after that are great. He's got Aston Villa away after that. Man United at home, not a bad fixture with how Man United going at the moment. Bournemouth away, good fixture. Crystal Palace at home, good fixture. Yeah, he looks good, and yeah, I think he's going to be the next bandwagon.
I'll tell you what, we should start saying that wasn't a very good episode live each show, because then people are like, oh my god, if that wasn't a good episode and I bloody loved it, better watch next week.
Yep.
But I'm not the same about Haller. I just feel like he played Watford last week. Watford have been really poor. I need to see. I mean, West Ham do have the fixtures to put him in and take a chance on him right now, and Norwich at home is obviously a great one to come in on because they give up chances like no other. I think they've had 31 shots in the box conceded this season, which is the 5th worst. And I think they've conceded maybe both teams averaged over 2.5 goals. So it's going to be a bit of a goal fest, I think. So maybe this is a good one for him to come in on. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still not sure about it.
In my case, it's sort of a free move because I'm thinking about wildcarding next week. So yeah, that's why I'm thinking bring Haller in for this really great fixture who's looked great. Yeah, I think he's going to be the next bandwagon. The next Haller, party. That doesn't really work, but
Haller party.
Haller Hellfest. I don't know. Anyway,
okay.
Yeah,
better.
Okay. But yeah, I'm tempted, and I want to go for it. So why not?
Okay. All right. Well, I feel like it's going to be the Pukki is going to continue. I nearly said it. Pukki's going to continue his form at the London Stadium because London Stadium. Yeah.
Yep.
Because he just keeps delivering. He's owned by 36% of the game now. He's way outperforming his XG, though, which I thought was quite interesting to note. So he's only had an XG of 2.09. He scored 5 goals. So I think that's quite good in some ways. He's scoring shots, which perhaps he shouldn't, and maybe he's finishing ones, which he should. So he's had 2 big chances this season, which is the same as Lundstrom. So I was quite surprised by that stat too, but I do think the way Norwich is set up to play, everything goes through him forward line. Him and Cantwell at the moment looking really good, and yeah, maybe there's cause for you to start Cantwell this weekend. We actually had a question in from someone on, I think it was on YouTube from Nath H. Yeah, just double checked it. Is it too late to jump on the I'm going to say Pukki train because he said the PP word as well. Is it too late to jump on the PP? Oh God.
I mean, at 7 million, he's gone up by 0.5 already in 3
crazy.
weeks. So yeah, I think his ownership is getting a little bit out of hand for someone at that price. So yeah, you probably do need to get on him. He's outperforming his XG, but if he can get 1 goal a game, he's still going to continue rising. To be honest, because at that value, he's great. So yeah, I think you probably should get on. At some point, you just can't avoid it. To be honest, you just have to admit you were wrong for waiting and just get on it.
Yeah, their fixtures as well. Norwich after that Man City game in Game Week 5, they've got Burnley away, Palace away, Aston Villa at home, and Bournemouth away. So there's some really tasty away fixtures for them just to go and have a stab at. Play their fast sort of counter-attacking football, and I can see Pukki getting goals in quite a few of those games. So I think his price is only going to go up. So I think get on him.
Speaking of Cantwell, would you start him over Martial?
I don't know if I'd start him over him, but I'd definitely keep Cantwell first bench. I was having a look at him. I don't really know why I didn't didn't get him on the wild card because I was looking at him and there was a few reports about how he was only taking the place of another player, and that other player had been out injured and he might come back in. So I was thinking, maybe I don't want to take a chance on a non-player, but he's come in and he's just done really well.
I think it was in place of that Onel Hernandez, but he's out for a while, and he was obviously starting in front of him anyway, and he's obviously performed really well, so he's made that place his own, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get dropped. So I've got written down that he's a budget superstar, 12% of the game now. I wanted to compare him to Den Donker. So he's had more penalty area touches than Donker, 9-6. He's had less shots, 2-3, but he's made way more key passes, 8-2, and obviously he's created one big chance, which I think Pukki took in game week 2 in that game against Newcastle. So I think those two are going to be generally quite close throughout the season, but I think Cantwell's got the upper hand at the moment just because Norwich are much more. He's given license to get a lot further forward than Den Donker is.
Yeah, and I think in games we've predicted to be goal fests before, they kind of haven't turned out like that. But yeah, neither of these teams can defend. So
no.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I know a lot of people are speaking about Lanzini as well as a way into that attack rather than Haller. But I think Anderson is being overlooked. So against Watford, obviously, caveat of Watford being bad at the moment. He had 4 shots, 3 in the box, an XG of 0.26 and an XA of 0.98, which is up there. So the troll of 18-19 is back, and he had better stats across the board than Lanzini in that game versus Watford. So yeah, I think he got 1 assist. So it's I might go for Anderson if you were looking that way instead of Lanzini, if you can obviously get the funds.
Yeah, I think I sort of put him in that sort of same category as Maddison in terms of what they offer. I think Anderson's on a few set pieces, similar to Maddison, but I think Anderson's got the better fixtures. But I mean, he trolled me so hard last season. There's some players that just have a bad bind on you and you just can't forgive them.
See, I didn't have that. I got off him at a good time, and I got most of his hauls last year. And so I haven't got a bad voodoo with Anderson, so I'm not averted to going there, sort of thing.
All right, let's move on to the 5:30 p.m. game, the game where Sadio Mane is going to repay my faith by getting more than 3 points this game week. Burnley against Liverpool. Ashley Barnes, man. Ashley Barnes. I said him on the show last week, and I knew I should have got him, but I didn't, and he scored again. So you've got down that the train keeps on rolling. Mm-hmm. Do you like Ashley?
Yeah, of course. His fixtures after this week are stellar, aren't they? So Liverpool at home this week, and then Brighton Hove Albion away, Norwich at home, Aston Villa away, Everton at home. Yeah, they're all green on the ticker. So I think they've got 5 or 6 weeks of really great greens. And obviously Burnley look good at the moment. So Barnes, wouldn't be surprised if he scores against Liverpool. I hope he doesn't. Obviously, I've got double Liverpool defence. This is the kind of fixture that everyone thinks Barnes will score, and then Liverpool will probably keep a clean sheet. But I think he's scored in his last 3 against Liverpool. Or sorry, he's not scored. Burnley have scored against Liverpool.
Burnley have scored, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I've done a few stats. Basically, all these guys have played full minutes. So I've done Kane, and then Pukki and Barnes. So obviously 2 players who are really good for form versus Kane at 11 million versus value. So Kane has had 10 shots, Pukki's had 12, Barnes has had 13, so Barnes ahead there on 13. Big chances, 2 for Kane. Obviously, he's got 2 goals from that. Pukki 2, which is, I don't know how he's only got 2 if he's got 5 goals, but anyway.
I know, I noticed that with the stats.
And then Barnes has had 3. Yeah, he's obviously got more goals. XG for Kane of 1.04 versus 2.09 and 2.25, so Barnes ahead again. And then XA of 0.31, 0.94. Pukki's XA is pretty nice. And then Barnes of 0.43, again, pretty good. And then the X attack of 5.1 for Kane, 11.2 for Pukki, and 10.3 for Barnes. So Barnes, pretty much the same as Pukki. And then just, beating Kane and Pukki beating Kane across the board on all of them, really.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and Kane at 11 million compared to these guys at 7 and 6.6. Yeah, there's value to be had there, isn't there? And Barnes looks like he's going to keep going with those fixtures.
I'm my 3 transfers. I mean, I'll talk about them more later actually, but my plans for this game week. But I'm confident about Barnes even for this weekend, and so much so that I've lost faith with Jota that I want him to take get him out ahead of this game week just because he's irritated me so much. But the way my transfers and wildcards have gone this season, I don't even know if I trust my own decisions anymore. So I'm going to have to give myself some time to think about it. But let's talk about Liverpool, because they play 2 of the top 6 in the next 6. But they play they've got two favourable fixtures. They've got Burnley coming up next and Newcastle. Burnley have created 4 big chances all season. Newcastle have created 1, which is pretty damn awful. So, I mean, their defensive prospects look good on these next 2. But like you say, Burnley have scored in their last 3 against Liverpool. You're still rocking the double Liverpool defence. You were irritated when the goal went in against Arsenal, and that obviously happened similarly against Southampton. Late goal to deny the clean sheet. You getting a bit twitchy on the old Liverpool double defence, or?
No, not yet. I still think they're going to come good. Yeah, they're one of the best teams. Obviously their XGC is sort of in the middle, as we said last week, but I'm hoping they sort of turn that round. Next 2 fixtures look good. I think DVD can muscle out Barnes and just screw him over, hopefully. And then there's hauls coming for Trent and Van Dijk and Robertson. So if they can keep a clean sheet in the next 2, everyone's going to want to get back on them. So yeah, not too worried, and hopefully this is a good fixture for them. I think they've got one of the best bookies odds for the clean sheet in this one, haven't they? So I'm keeping the 2 defence for now. Trent's obviously a point machine still, so
yeah. All right. Well, I tried to make fellow Mane owners like me feel a bit better about transferring in last week by having a look at how his stats compared to Salah per 90 minutes for this season, because obviously Mane's not played as much as Salah. So per 90 minutes, Mane's having 2.4 shots to Salah's 3.4, so he's having 1 shot per 90 minutes less. Salah's nearly double on big chances. Mane's had less than 1, and Salah, or per 90 minutes, and Salah's nearly had 2. But key passes and expected assists, Mane's 4 times better on key passes per 90 minutes, and he's 5 times better for expected assists against Salah. So I need to give this another week to see if this is something that is actually something worth pursuing. But more than likely, I'm just gonna give up and go back to Salah if it doesn't work, because I can't afford. With Salah's ownership, I can't afford to get any further behind if the majority have him. I went up in overall rank this week, but it was from 800k to 600k, and I feel like when you're fighting over 40% of the game, we've got Salah, and some of those might captain him. It's just going to be a long road, and it's probably not worth that differential status. I can get to him fairly easily, so anyway. I also had a look at Trent against Robbo per 90 minutes. It was interesting to know, I don't know if you've picked this up from just watching Liverpool games, but Robertson is having a lot more shots this season. He's shooting from the edge of the box, inside the box. He obviously had that good one against Southampton. So Robbo is actually outshooting Trent per 90 minutes to 2 to 1.6, but he's so far down on big chances created. Trent's creating 1 per game, Robertson 0.3. But key passes again, Robbo's up 3.6 to 1.6. It's 2.5 times better there. I think it's quite close between them. And if I had more, what would I say? If I had more trust in a defensive clean sheet prospects, I'd get back on that Robertson Trent double up pretty soon.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time, to be honest. Alisson's back soon enough, so I'm happy to keep for now.
Okay, should we move on to Sunday? Is there any more you want to add on Liverpool? Okay, I just wanted to say Firmino's skill was really good. Oh, that was cool. Yeah. Let's try that one. All right, so Everton against Wolves. Wolves, they've had, I don't know, some strange results, I'd say, after the Europa League games. I was expecting sort of better against Burnley. The performance against United was quite tame. I think they've had 1 big chance created this season, and I think that was the penalty. That's the same as Newcastle. Their sort of attacking output in the league is really suffering, but their defensive sort of aspect of the game is fantastic. They got 3rd best expected goals conceded in the league and only conceded 7 shots on target. Are you and I missing a trick in Bolly, who seems like he's bossing it with with baseline bonus points. He obviously picked up 2 bonus against Burnley despite not scoring or assisting, and in a game where he lost clean sheet. What do you think about Wolves at the moment as just a general sort of fantasy team?
in the first week.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though Bolly looks good, I'm not sure they're keeping loads of clean sheets. Like Europa League does seem to be making them tired, especially in sort of Jota and Jimenez. They've not looked great, have they? So you've got to feel bad for keeping Jota instead of Barnes on your wildcard when you had that plum opportunity to just put Barnes in. But yeah, Jota is annoying me for sure. But I think I'm being forced to keep him one more week. And Everton away is possibly a good fixture for him. I think eventually Wolves are going to start scoring. They need to start doing it soon because they're 16th in the league. If they didn't get that last minute penalty, they would have been 19th. So I said last week I don't think Nuno will let Wolves slip in the Prem, but they seem to be, and they have to sort it out. So yeah, there's hopefully some goals here. Don't know.
Yeah. Well, we saw the sort of same, didn't we, last season with Burnley, that they just struggled in the league after being in the Europa League, and I feel like Wolves, from attacking point of view, were definitely struggling.
Yep.
Like one big chance created this season, which I'm pretty sure I'm saying is the penalty, because I think they count in that, and it's just atrocious from them. And when you and I had so much faith in Jota, and I thought I'd back him still on the wild card. He had that home game against Burnley, who hadn't been great defensively. Jota keeps scoring in the Europa League. I appreciate the Barnes have been scoring in the Premier League too. Just backing that player with the home fixture and a potentially easier game away against Everton, and he's just not done it.
I mean, Everton have got the fourth best XGC of 2.84, so it doesn't really bode well for Wolves' attacking potential here either. I think I just got to keep hold of him and hope he does something. So Everton wise, they have the fifth worst XG as well, which is 2.94. So their defense is obviously outshining their attack at the moment. So Sigurdsson, someone to look at. Obviously, I had him in the first 2 weeks. I think they got rid of him in the third. He's obviously been disappointed for owners so far. 3 and 2 points so far, which is bad for an attacking Everton. They're hopefully trying to crack the top 6 sort of team. Got hooked at 61 minutes last week, didn't he? There wasn't any reason for him to be, really. There was no sort of red card or anything like that. So he seems to be one of the ones that's going to go out for a sub. And then his XG was 0.01 and 0.08. So
crazy.
It's below 0.1 completely for both. So it's an example of fixtures clouding our judgment. Those long lists of green and there's obviously history in the Premier League of being good. We need to look at form really rather than just history, to be honest, and that's what we didn't do, or at least I didn't do, and many owners didn't do. So if you keep him this week, against Wolves XGC, which is third best, you're probably not expecting much, to be honest.
No. It's fun.
Sorry, Karen.
Sorry.
You go.
I was just going to say, when you say looking at form, I think you're bang right. You and I were looking at form. We got Pukki in, he's done well. We've looked at the form. We know Liverpool defence isn't doing well. We've looked at the form. We know Barnes is doing well. It makes me, all those sort of things and never point me towards maybe I've got to do Jota to Barnes this week.
Like I said, I hope he doesn't do well this week. But anyway, Iwobi, who came on, he had 29 minutes against... Who did they play again? I've completely forgot. Aston Villa.
They played Aston Villa.
29 minutes, 2 shots, 1 on target, 2 in the box. He looks really good when he came on, to be honest. I don't think much of Iwobi as a player, but he looked good there. And I think he'll probably start versus Wolves. He looks like he's fit and ready to go. So I'm not sure who he comes in for exactly. Maybe Bernard, but Bernard's been their top scorer this season, or top point scorer in FPL anyway. So I'm not really sure he fits in, but maybe he comes in for Siggy because he can play Cam. I'd be worried if you're a Sigurdsson owner at that point because Iwobi look good.
Yeah. We had one final, a question on Wolves actually, which I shouldn't forget to mention, from Sergej Savchenko, who said, Wolves attacking the defence, is it worth it keeping Jimenez? He's obviously kept it for these 3 game weeks. He's only had that penalty return. When you see players like Barnes and Pukki doing so well, do you think it's time to maybe move on from Jimenez? I mean, we sort of discussed it a little bit with Jota as well, and I think the fact that he's more expensive.
If I had Jimenez, I go straight to Haller this week.
Okay.
Or Barnes if you don't have him. But I think Haller at 7.4, and like I said, that Norwich fixture looks great. That's my advice.
Short and sweet. I like it. Let's move on to the final game of the weekend. Arsenal against Spurs. My favourite fixture in the Premier League, this one, Kieran.
Really?
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's always goals. I think there's probably going to be goals in Spurs' net because their form recently has been atrocious. 15 points from the last 15 games. They failed to win their last 7 away games. I thought their defence looked a mess against Newcastle, so open. Similar problems against Aston Villa with that ball over the top, catching them out between centre-back and full-back.
Yep.
Amazingly, they clung on for a point against Man City, though. Aubameyang captain, Kieran?
Oof. Ooh.
Woo!
Yeah, I mean, if you've got Aubameyang, you've probably got someone like Sterling. So yeah, no, but yeah, possibly. Yeah, Arsenal, they've scored what, two in their last. They've scored at least 2 in the last 10 home games or something. So yeah, they look good and odds on to score at least a few here. And obviously Pepe looked good in the last fixture. Aubameyang's obviously been doing pretty well as well. So there's goals in this game, like you said.
Yeah. We've had so many questions in about Kane, Kieran. It would take us like another show to name drop everyone that asked about Kane. But basically, he was captained by over 1 million people. I'm sure if you were one of those, please let us know by raging in the chat. Spurs had 80% of the ball, but he had just 2 shots on target. He had just 1 shot off target. That was Spurs in total had 2 shots on target. Son was the one who was making some impact. He had 6 shots in the game. But I don't feel confident about owning any Spurs assets. What would you say to people who had or have Kane? Would you persevere with one more to watch him, or would you sort of get off him?
Okay. If you've got 2 free transfers, I'd probably go for Aguero. But Kane has history in this fixture. Has a good record in the North London derby. So yeah, it could do well. Obviously, Arsenal's defense is pretty bad. So yeah, if you don't have 2 transfers, then I'd probably lean towards keeping him but don't captain him. You gotta hope he's going to do something in this game. Spurs clearly need to sort themselves out. So this could be the way to do it, and obviously against one of their biggest rivals. So, yeah, if you've got him, probably keep him. But I would be very tempted by that Aguero move.
Yeah, same. Well, it's just a Man City, you guarantee goals. Aguero's on penalties, which is what you're expecting of Kane, basically. I know Aguero's 1 million more, but Man City's fixtures are equally as good as Spurs, even better. Should we just get excited about Pepe? Because we both enjoyed watching him, didn't we, on Saturday night?
He looked great, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, that price point, 9.4 million, 3.5%. So he's super differential, and in a top 6 team, how good he looked. He's definitely one I'm looking at. At that price point, it's either him or KDB or Son or something like that. And obviously with KDB doing so well, it might be a bit strange to go to Pepe. But at the same time, kind of like a sort of risk sometimes, and Pepe looks possibly worth taking. So obviously off to Tottenham, they got Watford away, Aston Villa at home, Man United away, which isn't too bad for them. Bournemouth home, Sheffield United away. They've got no top 16 after Man United in week 7 until week 17. So they've got 10 weeks of green fixtures.
That's good, isn't it?
So yeah, if you're looking for points, and Arsenal look like they've got a terrible defence, they need to score goals. Pepe, Aubameyang. I think those are probably the only 2 options. But like I said, maybe if he can actually be injury free. Pepe versus Liverpool looked great, right? He had 4 shots, 2 on target, 1 in the box, an XG of 0.61 and an XA of 0.12. Whereas Aubameyang and Lacazette had an XG of 0.05 and 0.00 compared. So he possibly looks like the best route into that attack. Assuming he plays this week, I want to watch him play this weekend, hopefully get 90, see how he looks. And then, assuming he plays, then he's possibly the best route because he's playing on the right side of the attack, whereas Aubameyang's on the left side. So he's basically playing the same position for 1.6 million cheaper. And what's not to like there? They're going to score goals, and he looks fantastic. So
yeah, he really excited me, and I think I want to see a few more games about how sort of he plays positionally and where he is in sort of like the hierarchy.
That Watford away game, that sounds great.
Yeah, That would be good. Well, yeah, I just want to see how he fares. Like, is he going to be the sort of second top point scorer after Aubameyang? Is he going to be feeding him? And how does he compare to, like you say, KDB? Because I sort of rate KDB third sort of best point returner in the Man City team after Sterling and Aguero. But is KDB going to outscore Pepe?
Probably. But...
Yeah, it's going to be close though. And plus, it looks like it's going to be a fun watch when Pepe's playing. Like, I love the skills,
great skills
and he just loads so quick. And that's the sort of player I like watching when you've got in your FPL team. But I also like KDB. Maybe I'll just get rid of. Maybe I'll not have Salah, Kieran, and just have Pepe. I don't like points.
No, there's points coming from him. We see he's got a great record in Ligue 1, isn't he, or Ligue 1. And yeah, he had that really great chance go through against Liverpool. Poor finishing, but that's going to come. He's not going to miss all those all the time. So, and we've seen how bad Spurs are at defence, and then Watford away bad at defence, Villa at home bad at defence. So yeah, he's got the opportunities.
I suppose it's also worth mentioning there's a lot to be said still of how Arsenal cope with Europa League again this season, and sort of how that Thursday, Sunday will affect them, and how Emery just chooses to rotate that team. Like, we assume that one of Lacazette, Aubameyang, or Pepe will probably start in the odd Europa League game. It's who that is.
Good point.
To start with. Maybe he'll sort of try embedding Pepe into the squad a little more with a few group stage games.
Possibly.
Maybe, we don't know, but yeah, worth something to keep an eye on. I have a feeling it starts around game week 6, 7, 8. Someone in between one of those weeks. I think it's after the international break.
Well, he might be worth getting, like, on the wildcard, as I'm saying again, week 5. For him to come around and get those first few weeks against Watford and Villa and United, and then if we see him be rotated, then he's an easy move with a few point something in the bank to get a KDB just for those few weeks to see how he's doing.
I like it. Cool. Should we jump on and talk about captaincy?
Yes. Yep.
Cool. All right. I mean, you and I have both got our little armbands on Sterling. Is there a little case for Pukki this weekend?
Yeah, maybe, but not for me. He's overperforming his XG, isn't he? So we imagine that's going to come down a little bit. If he can get one goal, that's probably all I'm expecting from this week. Whereas Sterling, I think is the nailed on in our teams at least for possibly a goal, 2 assists, 2 goals. Yeah. Yeah.
No, like, we're going to have a captaincy video coming out probably 24 hours after this one drops, so it's got some key stats on both of those players, but I sort of see Pukki, Salah and Sterling as potential captaincy options this week, and I think, like you say, Sterling is the most assured of those. Plus the fact I like that he knows about FPL.
Yeah, that's true.
Like his recent tweets, and he's knows that he's got a lot of people that he's disappointed if he doesn't score. So yeah, I feel like he's going to return well this weekend for us. Even more pressure on him. Okay, should we talk about our Cougar Cup picks? The last one of this sort of month for the title of August. Now that I get to go first, there's a little bit of pressure. I've got 2 names written down, but I'm going to back my boy, Joe Linton.
Wow, okay.
Against Watford. Yeah. I fancied a bit. Well, it's a Cougar Cup differential, isn't it?
Right. Is it playing Watford, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Who was your other one?
Firmino.
All right, so we didn't have either of the same people.
Oh, that's unusual.
Okay, so I've got 2 down here. I'll read them both out. Emerson, Sheffield United at home, 2.5% owned. And the other one was Maddison, Bournemouth at home, 11.4% owned. So, I mean, Emerson's probably a bit riskier.
Yeah. I could see him getting more of a clean sheet nailed on than Maddison a goal or Joe Linton a goal, to be honest. But
right, yeah, I'm gonna. All right.
How prolific is Sheffield United?
I'm gonna, go with you and say Emerson at 2.5%. Sheffield United at home. Sounds good.
So I just had a look at I got the points screen back up now, just so everyone else can see what we're talking about. So you're on 5, I'm on 9. So yeah, I just need Joe Linton to turn up and get a 2-pointer, even if Emerson gets that clean sheet. We draw Kieran on 11 each.
We're still going season wide as well, so I've still got time to beat you.
All right. Okay. All right. Clean sheets and transfers.
Okay. So I'm going to say Liverpool. I think might get a clean sheet. Chelsea, okay. I think it's clean sheet. So obviously I've picked out Emerson, and then Leicester possibly because their XGC is very good. So and Bournemouth look not great in attacking. So yeah, those 3 for me.
Okay. Well, I feel like Man City almost goes without saying. I feel like they're going to get back to it this week. Did you see? There's some crazy stat, I think, that there's only been one clean sheet in the first 3 game weeks from last season's top 4.
Wow.
Which is pretty mad. And I think that was Man City on the opening day of the season against West Ham, which is why a lot of people who start with 5 and 4 at the backs are struggling at the moment. So I'm going to say Man City, and then I had Wolves down, actually. I think they're going to keep Everton out because they've looked a bit toothless, despite that Europa League commitment.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to talk about our transfers very briefly.
I'm thinking of just Callum Wilson to Haller at the moment.
Okay.
I do want Barnes for Jota, but I don't really want to take a hit for it. And I can't afford Jota to straight to Barnes. Although I can actually, because they haven't. I thought they were going to rise last night, but they didn't. Or Barnes, sorry. But at the same time, I don't really want to bring Barnes in against double Liverpool defence that I have. So that seems like I'm just sort of not really optimizing my point chance if I'm doing that. So yeah,
sure,
that's me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, to be honest, I always seem to know, like, at the start of the week what I want to do next week, even before I even look too much at the stats. So to give you a bit of an idea of what I'm thinking, I thought straight away I was going to do Jota to Barnes, get him in before Liverpool game, and then just know I've got him from game week 5. Yeah. And the 2 transfers I can see myself lining up for game week 5 also. If Salah backfires, I can get Mane to Salah, and I'm prepared to downgrade Wan-Bissaka for a 4.5 to a 5 million sort of price defender who's got a good fixture run. Funnily enough, Burnley do have that good fixture run. I think Leicester's isn't too bad.
You don't want to double up on Burnley defence, mate.
No, exactly. So I've got to look somewhere else for that.
Just go to Dunk or something.
Yeah, I think there's some other good options who've got good bonus point potential. Even Mings and Aston Villa have got some some really good fixtures, and his bonus point potential's there. So, yeah, Mings, he could be an option. After slagging him off, he could be in my team come game week 5 again at home to West Ham. Who would have thought it? That's where I'm sort of my head's at, and that would give me. I'd be really happy with that team actually. Real powerful midfield: Martial, De Bruyne, Salah, Sterling. Got 2 good players up front in Pukki and Barnes, and power hopefully for decent defensive options.
Yeah, and come next week we might be looking at my wildcard first drafts over the international break. So yeah,
excellent, cool. It's exciting times, isn't it?
Yes.
I've got to climb these ranks as well, but don't worry, it'll happen slowly and surely. Okay, I think that wraps it up, doesn't it, Kieran? We always try and do like a slick, short show, but we just talk about fantasy football and then it gets long.
We can't help it.
We can't help it. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining us and sticking through to this late. We'll be back next week with our game week 5. Oh, we'll probably do a game week 4 wrap up because it's international break, won't we?
Yeah.
And then we'll do a preview the following week. If you've got any questions in the meantime, please comment on the video or at FPL Cougars. You can tweet us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and on YouTube. Search FPL Cougars. Cool. So until next week, it's goodbye from me.
Cheers and good luck.
Bye, everyone.
I said it at the right time.